Hi guys, and welcome to my first video in a very long time. Sorry I've been so absent. So in today's video we're going to be talking about GitHub, because GitHub I've not been playing very nicely with one of my repos, and we're going to find out all about that. So part one of the video, let's go. Hello. I've got some dinner on my t-shirt. So as you can see here, the repository has been disabled. Access to this repository has been disabled by GitHub staff due to a violation of GitHub terms and service. Contact support for more information or to request a review of the decision. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's something called Hacktoberfest, which happens every year in October, and essentially the whole point of it is to try and help out on open source projects. So I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. I've done it every year. I think I actually missed 1 year, maybe. Actually, I missed this year as well. Whoops. But I used to be a regular participant, and I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna make this app. So I don't know if anyone knows about this, but like in the UK during the lockdowns and all that kind of stuff, there was this app, and you had to download it, and then when you had to go into a restaurant, you had to scan a QR code, and then it would register that you were there with your mobile device, so that if anyone else went in there with COVID, then you could get an alert and it would show you that you've been near someone who's got COVID. Now the whole system fell apart because it was a completely stupid idea, because what would happen was, you know, you could go in there at like 3 PM and then somebody else would go in there at 6 PM, and then you wouldn't even cross paths with each other, and then you'd get alerted, and then you'd say you've been in contact with someone with COVID, and then legally you have to like stay in the house and you're not allowed to go out, even though you never actually had contact with that person. You just might have had contact with that person. Anyway, that's the backstory of that whole application. So like the government were giving out these registration forms, and you could essentially set up a business with a QR code. So you get the QR code with your business, and then you could put that on your shop front. So it wasn't just for restaurants, it was for anywhere. Like you could have like a charity shop, or it could be like H&M, or like, you know, M&S, whatever. Like, and then you could put your barcode on the front, and you could scan it, and then you could let other people know that you're in the area. Yeah, so I registered a business, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but I'll try and find it on my emails, and I'll put that on the screen. I downloaded the app to scan the QR code data, and I was like, great, it's JSON. It's all JSON. And then there was like one parent key that said something like data or something like that, and it was a base64 encoded string. So I went straight onto Google base64 decoder, and I decoded the string, and on the string it was basically just information about the restaurant. So that was another JSON payload within that. So there was this information about the restaurant, the name of the restaurant, the contact email, whereabouts it was located, all that kind of stuff. But wouldn't it be funny if like people could just load up a browser with this app that looked like the app but wasn't the app, and you could just scan QR code and then get into the restaurant without, you know, these apps harvesting all of your data? And I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty funny. So what I did was I set up this application. I put it through my, I set up a website called saynototrackandtrace.co.uk. I sent it to all my friends, and then all my friends downloaded it, and it brings up a little camera. It's like a HTML5 camera, and then it takes a picture, and then it basically gives you a green tick with a timestamp and the name of the restaurant, and all decoded from the barcode, and it worked in real time. And then ironically, I wanted to track where people have been using the app and how far it had reached. So what I'd done was I installed Google Analytics onto it, even though it was meant to be like a fake privacy, a fake anti-privacy application. I installed Google Analytics on it, which I thought was also quite funny. As you can tell, my humour isn't that great. But and then I found out thousands of people using it. It literally went from 0 to like 1,000 people in like a month, and I was like, holy crap, I've never had an app that's kicked off this big. And then I sort of left it. I sort of thought, well, you know, COVID's over, whatever, I'll just let it on. We'll see what happens. And then I think my domain ran out eventually and stuff like that. And then I go onto my repo, and it's not there. And it's came up with this message. So that's the backstory. And now this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so let's go to the support emails. Noticed it's the guy or girl who has contacted me is called GitHub Trust and Safety, because obviously this app is still out there right now that people are using on a day-to-day basis, and it's against safety, which is not true. It's actually been taken down now by the government. So it says, so my original ticket was, so I'm assuming these are like the questions that you do on the support ticket. So does your claim involve content on GitHub? GitHub? What is the GitHub or npm.js username that was impacted? 100-bit studios. Why are you requesting reinstatement? You disabled or removed a piece of content or comment of mine. Please provide a URL to the content or comment if possible. If your content was impacted by DCMA and you would like to make changes or dispute that notice, please see this guide. Have you previously contacted GitHub about this claim? No. Would you like to provide any additional information or context that would be helpful on our review or reinstatement request? My repository has been removed and it says I have violated the terms and conditions, but I don't understand what parts of the... I'm going to move this window actually over here so you can read it. My repository has been removed and it says I violated the terms and conditions, but I don't understand what part of the TOS I've broken. I would like it reinstated if possible. I put a lot of work into this and it is open source. I also do not have any of the code available to me, so even if I could just get a zip of the code and remove that repo, that would be great. Regards, Brad. And to be honest, it's my goddamn code. Like, a few people contributed to it over the Hacktoberfest October thing, but most of it's mine, and most of it, you know, I made in for a bit of fun. It's all my code. Like, why can't I have my code back? And then they replied saying, "Hi Brad, thanks for reaching out. Your repository was disabled following reports that its content or activity may have been in violation of the following prohibition found in our acceptable use policies. We do not allow content or activity on GitHub that is false, inaccurate, or intentionally deceptive information and likely to adversely affect the public interest, including health, safety, election integrity, and civic participation. You can read more about our misinformation and disinformation prohibition here." This is just ridiculous. It's like, all this crap that's happened over the last 2 or 3 years has now come to code. Like, everything, like, it's come down to the actual programming underneath these websites. It's just like misinformation and disinformation. It was a project that was funny and it didn't hurt anyone, and they've taken it down and they won't give my code back. It's like, what the hell? I mean, okay, sure, I should have like backed it up myself and whatever, but you don't think that with GitHub. You're like, well, code is code. Like, how? And also, what I don't understand is, how do they know that this was what it is? Because that essentially means someone's found it and then they've like reported it, and someone's actually manually looked at it and then taken it down. Because there's no way that if they had some kind of automation system in place, it would have figured this out. Someone's actually reported the repo, which is just sad. And now I can't get my code back. But we're going to get it back, and we're going to say F you to GitHub. Well, I hope you enjoyed that whole GitHub saga and that little rant of mine. As you can tell, I was very, very annoyed. And but luckily, we made progress, because you haven't seen it yet, but in the second part, we actually managed to get all of the data back. It's a little bit long-winded, but we managed to get it. So join me in the next video in a couple of days, and we'll see what we did. So thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.